When I came in originally, I didn't know anybody in Washington. I was only there 17 times. You may have heard me say this. I never stayed over. And I had to rely on people to give me names. And many were really good. I mean, Bob Lighthizer. I had great trade people. I had some great people. But I also picked people that, in retrospect, I wouldn't have picked. But now I know the smart ones, the dumb ones, the weak ones, the solid ones, the ones like you.
I think that one of the biggest problems within the country is the distrust in the United States government. I'm one of them. I have zero trust in any government agencies. I have zero trust in our Congress and our Senate, anything. We have a government that's not functioning right now.
Yeah.
How are you going to gain the trust back of the American people within the government? And are we going to see anybody held accountable?
Yeah. The answer is yes on the second. They're going to be held accountable. They've got to be held accountable. What they're doing, they're destroying this country. They're crooked people. They're dishonest people. They're going to be held accountable. But what I find is, so when I came to Washington, I won an election that everybody said, they thought I was just going to have some fun. Everyone said, he's got too good a life. I did. I had the greatest life. I went from that to having bullets shot at me, okay? I had the greatest life. And they said, would you do it again? I said, without question, because we're going to save the country. It's much more important than I had a good life. A lot of people have a good life. It's like not the same thing. We're going to make America great again. Literally, we're going to make America greater than ever before. If we don't do it this time, we'll never be able to do it. It'll be too late. It'll be too far gone. But we're going to have great people. When I came in originally, I didn't know anybody in Washington. I was only there 17 times. You may have heard me say this. I never stayed over. I built a hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue, which was a great hotel and very successful, and then sold it. And then what happened is I didn't really know anybody in Washington. I was a New York person. I wasn't like a Washington, D.C. person. And all of a sudden I'm president, and I'm driving down Pennsylvania Avenue with more police and motorcycles and military than I've ever seen before in my life. I said to my wife, do you believe this? I'm president. But I didn't know anybody in Washington. And I had to rely on people to give me names. And many were really good. I mean, Bob Lighthizer. I had great trade people. I had some great people. But I also picked people that, in retrospect, I wouldn't have picked. But now I know the smart ones, the dumb ones, the weak ones, the solid ones, the ones like you. I know the people. I know everybody, sort of like everybody. And we're going to have a great government. I didn't know. I had to rely on people I'd ask, I don't want to use names because I don't want to embarrass, they're not bad people, but I'd ask people that were rhinos, who do you recommend for such and such a position? All important positions. And they'd recommend some people that were rhinos or something, or weak or not good. And I don't have to ask too much right now. I know the people, and I've known them through fighting and wars. I've known them through, because all this stuff. I had great support. Don't forget, I beat Nancy Pelosi. I beat all these people, every one of them. And somebody said, if you look at it, he beat the Clinton family, right? And that was really Obama too, because he was behind her 100% like he was running. And I beat the Bush family. I beat everybody. And now I beat Biden. I got him out. I beat him twice, actually. I beat him the first time, but now I beat him a second time because it was the debate that got him out. And now I have to beat somebody that nobody ever heard of, who's a Marxist. And I think I'll be able to do that. But I know the people now. I've been in government now for 8 years. I was in government for no years. I mean, I became president and I said, I've never done this before. It's pretty, sort of a miracle. In the history of our country, we had 92% politicians become president and 8% generals. Not admirals, but generals, only generals. So those were the only two, politicians and generals. George Washington, Dwight Eisenhower. Actually, he was very good, very strong on the borders. Eisenhower was strong on the borders, a moderate guy, but very, very strong on the borders. He had big deportation. But 92% was politicians, and 8%, there was nobody else. And then I came along. And so people were surprised. But I know the system, I know the people, I know some great people, and I know some people that I wouldn't put in. But you learn that. And so now I'm a very experienced guy, and we're going to bring our country back. And we're respected. We're going to be respected again with other countries. Don't forget, I had no wars other than I defeated ISIS, but that war was already started. That war was raging for 20 years before I got there. And I ended that war in 3 or 4 weeks. So, a lot of people give me credit, even people that don't love me, as being a great president because we did a lot. Right to try. I got right to try for people that are terminally ill, where they can use space age medicines. We have the best labs and the best doctors in the world. But you couldn't use it because, you just couldn't use it. You weren't allowed to use it. And I got that done where you can use these space age that won't be approved by the FDA for a long time, maybe 4 or 5 years. And I've saved thousands and thousands of lives. But now I know the system, and I know Washington, and I know the people, and I hope we win. And if we do win, we're going to make this country greater than ever before.
Well, Mr. President, it was an honor to interview you, and I really appreciate the time. And do you have any words of encouragement for the American people?
Well, I do. I just think the most important day, as I said, in the history of our country is November 5th. A lot of it's early voting and all of that. So, it's just another crazy thing where you vote for months ahead of schedule. The whole thing is crazy. But, we want to go to same-day voting, voter ID, proof of citizenship, and paper ballots. It's very simple. And we want to have legitimate. We don't need computers in the sky. We got to bring our voting back. But I just say to the American people, get out and vote. And you're going to be really happy. We're going to be safe. We're going to be respected again. And you're going to be very happy.
I'd like to close out with one thing, and that's just my message. Not everybody votes, and not everybody's going to vote. So if you are a voter, grab a friend and drag them to the poll.
Great.
And make them vote.
That's right. People have to vote. Very interesting. Some groups don't really vote very much, and yet they're great Americans, but something happens where they don't vote. They have to get out and vote. This is going to be the most important election in the history of our country, I believe.
I believe that too, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much. It's
I'm
a great
behind
honor.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.